You want to learn a little trick on how to keep base plates from warping? I see this happen all the time when welding base plates, and it can be solved with this one trick. So if you're new here, you might be wondering, who the heck is this guy? Well, I'm Luke, and I'm just a certified welder and fabricator that's been around the trade for a while, and I'm here to help beginners and inexperienced welders out there grow their skills and knowledge of the trade. So if that's you, stick around. So if you've ever welded anything before, once you get done welding your piece, whatever it is, when you go to look at it, it's going to be actually a little bit different than when you started. It might have pulled up a little bit or distorted somehow. And this can be super frustrating when you're trying to build something cool and make it look nice when you're done with it. So when you're welding or fabricating anything, your biggest goal is to keep your part or whatever you're welding from getting distorted or getting warped. So I'm going to go over one trick here that you can use to prevent distortion. And this trick is called pre-bending. So when you weld something, the weld actually shrinks as it cools. And then that'll pull your two pieces that you're trying to weld together, that'll pull them and distort them out of square and level. So when you pre-bend something, you're actually bending your metal the opposite way that the weld is going to be pulling it. So the reason why you pre-bend something instead of just clamping it flat to a table is because that weld is going to shrink no matter what. It doesn't matter if there's clamps holding it down or not. Once that weld cools down and shrinks, once you pull those clamps off, your piece is going to spring up and your piece is going to get distorted. So you always want to bend your piece that you're welding over flat, so then when it cools and the weld shrinks, it'll shrink up to where it needs to be nice and flat. Now for this scenario, we're using this pre-bending trick to keep this base plate from warping. So let me walk you through how I'm going to go about doing this. So with pre-bending, you always need a spacer to space out the amount you're pre-bending your piece. So in this case, it's a slip-on base plate, so I welded the bottom side of it first and used the weld actually as a spacer. So if you're in a scenario where you're not using a slip-on base plate, actually just like a regular base plate that just slaps on the end of a piece of square tube or pipe, whatever you're putting a base plate on, you need something there to space that out. I've actually done a lot before is just whatever size piece you're putting your base plate onto. Let's say it's a 3x3 square tube. So then you need a 3x3 square to put exactly where your square tube is going to sit on your base plate underneath it. What I've done in the past a lot is just using just a 3x3 piece of flat. So this is exactly where you should put your spacer at. So in this case, I just grinded down the weld and used the weld as the spacer. I grinded it down to stick out from the end of the plate. It was around 16th-ish. I did that on both plates I was welding. Now, if you're in a scenario where you're only doing one and you don't have another one to meet up like I'm doing here, so you can actually just put your spacer on a table and just set your piece on top of the spacer standing up. And then you can clamp down your edges of your base plate and then pre-bend it that way. So you might be wondering, how do I figure out the amount of space I need to pre-bend my plate? The answer to that is you guess. The more you pre-bend stuff, the more experience you have with how much it's going to pull and how much you need to pre-bend. So the better guesser you become. But here, I just flat out guessed. But I've had some experience before in pre-bending things, so I kind of had a rough idea on how much I need to pre-bend it. There are so many factors that come into play when you're trying to avoid distortion, like how much weld you put on your piece and how much heat was put into the material and the thickness of material and whatever part of your piece, like what kind of leverage that has. And so there's so many details that go into that. So all those details, I'm going to go over in a different video and just make a complete video on just distortion because there are so many different variables that play into that. So I'll go into that in a later video. So you see here, I have the plates already tacked up square and the bottom side welded for my spacer for pre-bending my plates here. And you actually see here, I have a little piece of MIG wire like curled into a little hoop. That's another little trick too. When you're fitting by yourself and you're working with slip-on pieces, whatever, whether it's a slip-on flange or a slip-on base plate like this, slip-on anything, whenever you slip that onto whatever you're welding it on, there's always going to be a gap on the bottom and then slam tight on the top. So what I like to do is stick a little piece of MIG or TIG wire, stick it in the top, and then that way it moves up your slip-on piece. That way you have an even gap all the way around. And when it comes to keeping things straight and fabricating, gaps are just your enemy, and you're trying to stay away from having too much gap here or there because the bigger the gap, the more that material is going to pull once you fill that in with weld. So always try to keep gaps small when you're trying to minimize distortion. So now that we got two base plates all ready to go, I'll have them lined up here and I'm starting to clamp them together with two clamps. And so basically I'm just clamping the outside of the plates, and the welds on the inside that I left kind of acts like our spacer, and that spaces it out on the inside. So that creates a pre-bend. So when you're clamping the plates together to get ready to tack, always clamp them evenly like I am here, like on either side of it. That way you can have an even pre-bend all the way around. Now, as you can see here, I'm just starting to tack it up. And when you're doing this, make sure to put some decent tacks on there that won't break, because if these tacks break while you're welding it, you're pretty much just defeating the purpose of this whole process. So make sure those tacks don't break. So once you have everything tacked up, you're good to weld. So as I'm welding this, I'm trying to evenly distribute my heat as best as I can. So you'll see me here, I'll be like flipping it over to always do the opposite side that I did before, just to evenly weld this piece out. All right, so here's the finished result. And before you cut your tacks, make sure to let this thing cool down all the way till you can touch it, like all the way cooled down. Because if you cut your tacks too soon and it's still hot yet, it might have the potential of pulling your plates, even though you had it tacked when you were welding them. As the saying goes, it pulls as it cools. Alrighty, once it's cooled down, you can cut your tacks and blend them back into your base plate like they were never there. And then, as you can see here, I grinded down that weld that I left on before as a spacer and just grinded that flat and got a near perfect result, which is what we were shooting for. Now you might be thinking, it's just a base plate. It's getting lagged in anyway, so why does it matter if it's curled up a little bit? Now, it all depends on who this is for. If it's for a customer that's really picky and they want everything nice and flat and straight and square, then you gotta take all the steps then to avoid distortion. But if it's just like a base plate that just goes on the end of a handrail, that it just gets lagged in anyway, it might curl up a little bit, but no one's really gonna care if it does or not, then this whole process is just gonna be a waste of time at that point. But as always, try to do as good as a quality job as you possibly can, because if this is for like a customer or somebody, like, you want to give them the best result possible. And doing high quality work will make you stand out from everybody else. All right, as always, if you have any questions about the video and if there's anything that you want to learn about the welding industry, fabrication industry, anything in general, drop those in the comments. I'll try to answer them as best I can. And with that being said, hope you liked the video and we'll see you in the next one.